So we're finally at the end of another regular season. This is season 7 of the Hamilton Warriors franchise mode for NHL 23. At the end of the season, we did finish in first place with a 59-21-2 record, 120 points. Darren McDonald led the Hamilton Warriors with a career-high 114 points as a defenseman. So in his career, he had 32 goals, 82 assists, 114 points, was a staggering plus 122 on the season. In his career, never missing a game so far. He has 492 games played, 159 goals, 412 assists, and 571 points. 5 of his 32 goals also came shorthanded, which was another career high. After him, we have Lane Pandolfo, who for the second season in a row cracked the 60-goal mark, getting 62 goals and 105 points. In his career, in 564 games, he has 363 goals, 281 assists, and 644 points. Every single one was for the Hamilton Warriors. He was the first overall pick ever by the Hamilton Warriors. He is the captain, and he has got 2 more years after this one at $11.25 million a season, which is seeming like a steal. Behind him, we've got new alternate captain, has been a lifetime member of the team, but Matt Siemens, the number 1 center who cracked 400 career goals in, I believe, the final game of the season, actually getting career highs in every category with 34 goals, 55 assists, and 89 points, was also an astounding plus 103. After him, we've got Thatcher Lewis, who the Hamilton Warriors traded for 3 years ago to get from the Ottawa Senators after having several very decent seasons with the Ottawa Senators, came to the Hamilton Warriors and absolutely started rewriting his own record book, having a very good season. Missed 5 games due to injury, but got 30 goals, 54 assists, and 84 points. In his career, he has 562 games played, 136 goals, 308 assists, 444 points. He is also under contract for 5 more years at just $5.25 a season. After him, we've got Dylan Watt, who is had just finished the first season of his 8-year extension. He had 8 goals, 55 assists, and 63 points in all 82 games this year. In his career, he has 272 games played, 27 goals, 149 assists, 176 points. His contract, $7.25 a year for the next 8 years, also looks like a bit of a steal. Hannu Lajunen, who just recently signed a 6-year extension for $8 million a season, did hit the 30-goal mark. He had 58 points. After him, Alex Texier, I believe, putting up career numbers this year as well. Samuel Berkowal, who is a rookie, put up an absolutely fantastic 19 goals, 33 assists, and 52 points, split between the second and third lines this season. I actually believe he began the season on the 4th line, was quickly moved up to the 3rd, and because of injuries and whatnot throughout the year, actually was up on that 2nd line as the number 2 center for a fair amount of time, actually. Jordan Gavin is another one, 22 years old. He had a fantastic season, 24 goals, 22 assists, 46 points for the 3rd liner, who is now taking over for Kent Johnson, who's injured. We will have to look into when he is coming back. Something tells me he is coming back April 16th, 2029, but I would have to check. This season, he had 12 goals, 28 assists, and 40 points in 65 games, but he was traded for about halfway through the season, where he put up a very impressive 10 goals, 17 assists, 27 points in the 39 games that he played with the Hamilton Warriors. He also signed an extension recently. I believe it was 3 years at 4.4 per season. After him, Ryan McLeod, who had a miserable start to the year, had a very strong finish with 19 goals, 20 assists, 39 points. Nils Lundqvist, who was another one traded partway through the season. I believe actually he was either traded at the deadline or immediately before the deadline, but something tells me he was traded at the deadline. He played just 17 games with the Hamilton Warriors. He missed 2 games, I believe, due to injury, but had a goal and 3 assists for 4 points in the 17 games so far since he joined the team. Since coming to Hamilton, he is playing about 19 minutes and 15 seconds a game. A couple of minutes down from what he was playing in Dallas. Ivan Zhamnov, who again had an injury-plagued sophomore year. He had 20 points in 48 games. Last season, as a rookie, he only got into 49 games, where he also got injured as well. In his career, he needs 3 more games to reach 100 career games. He has 26 points, but is a defensive defenseman. Skating is a weak spot for him, but he is pretty solid everywhere else. He is going to be eligible to sign an extension in this year's offseason. Slav Pushkarev, or as he's affectionately known on this team, Push, had a very down year, registering only 18 points after having a really strong 17-goal, 28-point season last year. This is the lowest point total of his entire career, including his lowest goal total. Every year so far, he has been a minus player, but he has 65 points in 244 games, but he is good enough to keep around. He is a playmaking center who I was hoping at this point in his career, by 23 years old, he would be in the middle 6 somewhere, but it just didn't quite work out that way. Slav Kolyachonok, he missed 3 games due to injury, finally got his first goal as a member of the Hamilton Warriors very, very late in the season. He's 27 years old. He is a relatively solid third pairing defender. The team likes him quite a bit and will be looking to hold on to him in the offseason. Justin Bell, who had a very, very rough start to the year, did end up finally getting up to 12 points in 53 games. He played about 2/3 of the season, so that leads you to think he basically would have had similar stats to Push. Probably would have finished with about 18 points. He is a center grinder, though, and a much more defensively inclined player and physically inclined player than anything else. He was drafted 17th overall by the Warriors 5 years ago. He's another one that is expiring. We'll be looking for an extension in the offseason, and the Warriors are undecided whether or not to bring him back. Henry Jokiharju, who was acquired partway through the season as well to be a third pairing guy, played 36 games for the Hamilton Warriors, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points, and was a +2. He has 150 career points in almost 750 games. He's 29 years old, has the potential to be a top 4 defenseman. I don't think with the totals he put up that he gets to that point, but he is still a pretty solid third pairing guy. Connor Clifton got into 42 games this season with the squad. He's nearing the end of his NHL career, but he did have 8 points in 42 games. He also played 19 games with us last season where he had 5 points. He got into just over double that this season. He does not yet have 100 career points, but he is a right defenseman. He was a 5th-round pick 16 years ago. So he is probably just about to turn 34. It's unknown if Connor Clifton will be returning. We have rookie Markus Shirokov, who actually got injured right towards the end of the season. He got into 24 games this year, putting up 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. Not horrible numbers, not fantastic. That basically puts him on about a 25-point pace throughout a full season, 24, 25 points. There's nothing wrong with that. He's 23 years old. He was a 2nd-round pick 5 years ago by the Hamilton Warriors, finally getting some time in the National Hockey League. He is a sniper, and we are hoping that he can jump back in come playoff time at some point and can put up relatively decent numbers, grows in the offseason, and becomes a full-time NHLer. Mikhail Abramov did slot into 19 games for the team this season. I don't remember if he is currently in the lineup. I believe he is because of injuries. Shirokov is out, and so is Kent Johnson. So Mikhail Abramov is definitely in the lineup currently, as is Connor Clifton. But Connor Clifton, who is a right defenseman, is actually playing right wing on the 4th line currently. After that, we move on to our goaltenders, where Paul Peru had a career best season, 60 games played, 44 wins, 13 losses, and an overtime loss with 6 shutouts, a .916 save percentage, and a 2.39 goals against average. He is in contention for the Vezina Trophy. The 25-year-old goaltender easily put up his best numbers this season, although it was only his second best season as it relates to shutouts and wins, which he got last season with 45 wins in a single season. In his career, he has played 211 games. He has 151 wins, 45 losses, 7 overtime losses, 20 shutouts, and a career .909 save percentage and a 2.43 goals against average. Nothing to shake a stick at there. In the playoffs last season, he played his best playoff hockey despite the team going out in the third round. He played 16 games where he went 9-6-1 with 3 shutouts. He had a .908 save percentage and a 2.84 goals against average. In 16 games, he faced over 500 shots. So, this season, he is looking to become an elite goaltender. Mats Eriksson, the 24-year-old rookie, got into 25 games this season where he went 15-8-1, no shutouts, with an .899 save percentage and a 3.12 goals against average. His numbers were substantially better than this, and then as the season went along, his numbers really fell off, and I believe it was just lack of experience, that lack of poise. He's a very solid goaltender. He was a third-round pick by the Warriors 5 years ago, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with him and his growth and development. But other than that, we move on to the rest of the National Hockey League, where Darren McDonald he's going to get the Art Ross Trophy, will likely win the Norris Trophy yet again. Darren McDonald and Pandolfo both finishing 1 and 2 in points in the regular season. Lane Pandolfo finishing first in the NHL in goals. Behind him was Austin Matthews, act surprised. Leading the league in assists this season was Darren McDonald. Right behind him was Mika Herme and Quinn Hughes. When we move on to rookie skaters, Gabo and Burke both had 56 points on the season. I'm assuming Josiah Gabo, who is actually a playmaker, will probably take the Calder Trophy. He is on an expiring contract. He's 24 years old. He was drafted 16th overall 6 years ago. Saul Burke, he is another playmaking right winger. He was drafted 15th overall just 3 years ago, but he had himself a solid 56-point season despite being a -5. Behind that is your very own Samuel Burkewell, who, again, not the greatest physically somehow, not the greatest skater, but otherwise an incredibly solid center who I believe is going to be around for a very long time. Now it is time to move forward and see who we are going to play in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I believe it's the Boston Bruins that we take on in the first round. It is the Boston Bruins.